Hello, 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 everyone. How is everyone doing this fine Monday morning, day before the end of the month? Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Rick. VIX could be up a bit because of a potential government shutdown. Uh, good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Sterling. Sorry, work got you. I'm glad you had a restful weekend, Sterling. Good morning, OD Green. Good morning, Daniel. How are you doing? How are you doing? Uh, I it was an okay weekend. It was okay. Watched some of the Ryder. Watched actually a lot of the Ryder Cup. At least I had it on in the background. So watched a little football. Also, hello, Charles. So I hope everyone else had a wonderful weekend too. We got a busy week ahead of it. Not only is it month end tomorrow, we could get a government shutdown, which I don't know. Is it that bad? Good morning, Jacob. Uh, we have, certain numbers don't come out if we have a shutdown. I have to go verify which ones come out, which ones don't. But if everything's came out as expected this week, uh, remember, private numbers come out just fine. Government numbers would be limited. Today we have more Fed speak. We had Waller, Hammock already speaking. We got pending home sales. We got Musalim and Williams and Bostic speaking. Tomorrow we got Jefferson speaking. We have the JOLTS job openings, Consumer Board Consumers Confidence, Dallas Fed Services and Revenues Index, Goolsby speaking, Logan speaking. Lots of Fed speak this week. They all got to say something. Wednesday we got the ADP numbers, ISM numbers, ISM manufacturing numbers, and of course the EIA numbers. Thursday you got initial and continuing jobless claims, factory orders, and Friday we have non-farm payrolls. Could anybody out there Google, like Sterling, if you have a moment, I don't know if you're too tied up with work, could you Google if non-farm payrolls comes out if the government shut down? Or ask AI. I don't really care. I just want to know if it does, if the government shut down, if we get the non-farm payroll numbers, since the Fed is still keying off of very much unemployment over inflation. Although Hammock this morning, she was saying that she was very hawkish on inflation, and we have the ISM services number on Friday. So we'll have to really see what numbers. I think we will get a shutdown, so we'll have to see what numbers come out. Good morning, Anissa. Oh, there you go. Sterling's putting it in now. Hold on. Should have beat the Seahawks, and how about those Bears? That was an ugly win. Ugly win. Nice block. Ugly win. Ugly win for the Bears, but you know what? That's the kind of win they need about now. This is what Hammock said. Restrictive monetary policy is needed to cool inflation. Ravens they're in a downward spot. What happened to the Ravens defense, Charles? What happened to the Ravens defense? I mean, that's one of the things that they're known for, and it is like a sieve. Inflation expectations are anchored, but signs of a worry. And she was saying doesn't expect to return to 2% till 27 to 28. I think it was. Come on. Good morning, Anissa. Yeah, 2% in 27. All right, that's 2 more years. AI, U.S. government shutdown will delay the release of the non-farm payrolls report because the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the agency that produces it, suspends its functions. Thank you. Thank you for putting that in there, Sterling. So, when that sort of puts the Fed in especially if the shutdown lasts for a while, does that put the Fed in a quandary for their analysis? But that will not be if we do get a government shutdown. No non-farm payrolls on Friday. S&P 500 is buy everything Monday, except Intel. And in that Netflix and Disney. I wonder why Netflix or Disney. I didn't see anything on Netflix and Disney this morning, but everything else is up. Everything else in defense stocks all humming along. Defense stocks all up, but everything, all your mega caps are up. Everything's up. So that's where we sit. All right, groups. Let's just do a quick refresh. Every group is up again. It's buy everything. I wonder if the VIX will get sold today just because it's been sell vol and buy it all. Sell vol. So I wonder if even with a little gap up in the VIX, if it'll get sold today. Fed Watch still has 2 cuts priced in for this year. Fear and Greed in neutral mode. Schiller PE 39.84. Shooting it should get back over 40 today. Earnings, there really isn't any. Next week, the end of next week really kicks off earnings. Right now, there is nothing. We're just wrapping up the tail end. We got Carnival this morning. Didn't even look at it. We got Nike after the close tomorrow. But there is nothing. There is nothing. So, that's why it's the movies. That's why we have the 100% tariffs on foreign movies. Come on. Come on. You're not going to make every movie in the U.S. I mean, that's a little insane. Good morning, Tony. Pentagon urges missile makers to boost output. Well, maybe that's why the defense are up. The EA is going to be acquired. It's going to be taken private. All right. All righty. We got through that. It's real easy right now. Well, I mean, again, if you manage your targets, manage your stops, we went through that on Friday. Don't take out a loan to trade or invest. What are we looking at here? Well, we dipped down to the bottom of the rotation zone. Setting up, we're now back above the 87.5. So guess what that does for us? Guess what that does for us? Puts us in potential double top territory. So it's a great place for a stop. For anything that's being trailed from, I'd say, from the medium or long, especially the medium term, that's a great place for a stop. On a closing basis below last Thursday's low. Again, can't give specific trade recommendations. However, what is the trend? The road pull back to the rotation zone and rotating back up, cycles moving back up. Now, we are probably going to get another divergence up here. Sorry for Roscoe snoring in the background. That's from across the room. What would invalidate the potential double? A trade above 67.90. And just because I say this every time, but people get this wrong. Just because there's a potential double does not mean it has to trigger. So it's a potential pattern. Why do we point it out? For stop purposes. If this triggers, we could see a pullback to the 50 EMA and breaking this upward channel. If it doesn't trigger, let's see what the weekly looks like. Because the weekly is still overextended. You know, where's the weekly about? 6,600. This double would also be very interesting because it would trigger right at the 8 EMA on the weekly. So that could get interesting, but we're nowhere near triggering it yet. Intermediate today, 67.40. Then the most recent high area, I'm actually looking at about 67.50 before the most recent high for a target. Then I'm going to the harmonic 67.75 area. Then 67.90 invalidates the double. So those are my targets to the upside. The key level I'm looking for a pullback on any pullback is this. If we get a bigger pullback is 6,700 to 6,705. 6,703 being very key in there. A minor pullback, I'm watching this little base around 67.24. All right, that's what I'm looking at. So that's where we sit. Again, we're going into month end. Tomorrow is month end. What else have I missed? What else? Sterling's putting in a lot of good information now. Let me see. Barclays on possible government shutdown. Rates market may see shutdown tilting Fed policy towards easing. High chance October 1st shutdown, likely greater than 5 days. Each week cuts GDP growth by 0.1 percentage point, usually recover later. Key data, jobs report, CPI, retail sales would be delayed. So that's where we sit. Limited on Q4 GDP impact. Again, that's Barclays. Oh, well, that's good news. McDonald's Monopoly game returning to the U.S. for first time in nearly a decade. Did anybody watch that documentary on the fraud from the Monopoly game? Did anybody watch that documentary? If you didn't, it's fascinating. Go look it up. I think it was on Netflix years ago. St. Michael the Archangel is trending on X. Uh-oh. Every technical support is holding for now. Only technical trading going on. Every technical support level is, for my stuff, is holding. Again, I'm focused on some still up. We could get some end of month selling tomorrow, but I got to stick with the rotation zone. Rotation zone's still up. Okay, we got the nice 3-day pullback in the rotation zone. A break above it. Now, I gave the targets the upside if we get about 67.90, 68.11, and then 68.77. NASDAQ, same thing. Pull back in the rotation zone, rotating up, putting it in potential double top territory. The only thing that would trigger the double top is a close below 24,422.50. We look on the weekly. The weekly is coming in right about 24,250. 24,250 is just below the trigger. Just below the trigger. Now, the targets we just ticked off the 75% harmonic, 24,876. Next target, 24,951, so 24,950 for me. Next target is just about 25 to 25,025. 25 is going to be my next target up. And then the targets from the harmonics, 25,102 and 25,178. Anything above 25,178.50 invalidates the potential double. Above that is 25,277. For any pullbacks, I'm paying attention to this key level right here. We had these two lows right here. Again, another low, the key closing price and a reversal off that level, and the 4-hour rotation zone. So 24,784 to 24,800 on any bigger pullback. Oops. Is my key level. Other than that, I'm keeping an eye on the 1-hour rotation zone, and specifically if we get a minor pullback, about 24,850. All right, the Dow, not yet in potential double top territory, may hit it today. Targets are 46,816, 46,935. The key high area, 47 to 47.50. And then if we get that, we're not in potential double top territory yet. But look at that, 47,175. And then we have the cluster right there. Thing of beauty. If this double does form, the key thing on a closing basis is 46,098. The Russell, holding the rotation zone. The invalidation point on the little mini double that hit the first and pretty much the second target. By the way, when you have a second target right near the bottom of the rotation zone, it was just raising the target slightly. That's what I do. 2473.5 on a closing basis invalidates. The rest of that, we'll leave it on until it's invalidated. Above 2485.8 puts it in potential double. It is sloppy because of this left-hand side. Above that, 2498 is the next target. If we break to new highs, 2522, 25, roughly 35 invalidates the double. The VIX, little gap up today. Could be, I mean, this is not major. I'm expecting if this rally continues, the sell-off to target Friday's lows in the VIX. DAX, we closed barely above this key level on Friday, but running up a little, but reversing back down. The DAX has been crappy trading for a while now, pretty much the whole month of September. It's sit on hands, by the way. The notes double top played out. The yields double bottom played out. Now I'm watching this. This is interesting. Pulling back to a very key little support base with what could be the first cross to the rotation zone. So I'm paying very close attention to this. If we do drop back down about 4.10 to 4.12 is very key support. 30-year just tested support and bouncing off of it. It's caught in this little consolidation range. So it's going to either be the breakout down or breakdown on the 30-year. Crude, pulling back today, gap down, pulling back today. I'm now, since we have a slight upwards bias on this, I am watching for a bullish setups on pullbacks. Bullish setups on pullbacks. Not really looking for short trades, even though it could roll over for a couple more days. This was a trailing %B break sell. So because we're above 1 and commodities, for equities, I'll do trailing, but I won't do sells based off %Bs unless it's above the 1.25, and this is configured to the 1.0. You see the standard deviation of 1. On commodities, since they trade both ways, I will use this was a great trailing level for me for a stop. It looks like it's going to close below there, but on a break below that. Now I'm just watching for the pullback. Natty gas, remember, you still have the double playing out. I just don't have the target. I'm not going to change all this, but because of the roll gap. Gold continues higher, taking out the next minor cluster. The next key level is 38.65. Trend still up in there, and the potential double is off the table. Gold, again, getting very, very euphoric. So with silver hitting the next harmonic, 47.41, and getting a brief pause there. Again, from a trailing perspective, I'm going to be watching today's low, especially after hitting that minor harmonic. Again, no shorts for that because of the strong trend up. Copper came back down on Friday, testing the key support level, reversing up. So, still has a long bias. I'm really keeping an eye on the low area from last Wednesday, but in the short term, it's the low from Thursday. But if we take down last Wednesday's low, it looks like we could have at least go back into consolidation. Other than that, the trend is up in copper. Platinum is getting everybody's rushing into platinum, so the potential double top is off the table. All right. Key support back at 1,500. Just keeps running up higher. I think we've already hit the next major harmonic level. No, we're not quite there yet. Sorry, I misspoke. 1670, roughly. 1670 is the key next major harmonic. Dollar index. I'm still going to be looking for buy setups. We bounced off this 98.20 level last Thursday. Little pullback on Friday. Little pullback coming into key support. All right. I need a buy setup, though, to appear, and there is nothing yet. Euro. Little bounce that we're watching to see if it kisses the prior support, becoming resistance away and the trend line away before looking for a rollover pattern. What else? Spiders. They're going to gap into potential double top territory. So there you go. Potential double top territory, just like the futures. For a trailing perspective, would be out of the way of the rotation zone. Targets, we're going to gap to 665, just above 665. So 664 becomes my first level support, and then major supports back at 662.50. Next target, 665.68. The most recent high area from 666.70 to 667.29, 668.90, and then we have a major cluster and also the invalidation point right around 670.50. 670.54 is technically the invalidation point for the potential double. So there's all your targets, the upside. Again, going into the open, I'll be looking at a roughly 664 to about 664.60 for support. The Qs, forgot to flip that around. Sorry about that. 599.28 puts us in potential double territory. We're gapping to 599.93. So we are in potential double top territory, which would also, if it did trigger, would be out of the way of the daily rotation zone. But that being said, 599.28 to about 599.58 is key support. Other than that, targets 601, then the recent high area 602.25, then about 602.87 is the recent high area I'll be targeting. 605.18, above 607.50. Hold on, that's wrong. The validation point for the double would be 606.46. So there you go. Good morning, Heinrich. All right, what else do we have? We have Bitcoin. Little bounce yesterday. That's about it. Still have the double playing out. But it looks like it's trying to do a lower consolidation here. Ethereum, little bounce back to rotation zone. I'm going to be watching for a potential rollover play there. Tesla, still, my target's still 450. My actually target is I'm looking for 454 to see then if this can get goosed to new highs. Why? Because that's what's required to put, unless Oracle takes a dump, I think we'll still get that funny option plays until Tesla takes out 500. And I think it's around 525 that makes Elon the richest person in the world again. So, without anything changes, there are no shorts from my perspective. Broadcom watching for a potential rotation percent B buy today. Needs to take out and close above Friday's high. Because we're holding the rotation zone on a closing basis. So going to keep an eye on that. To see if that doesn't mean we'll go to new highs. But, I mean, there's some interesting key levels we could target. Around the 50% harmonic from this pullback, then the 65.5. So the harmonic's really come into play there. Lip sync, the sound is off. It keeps giving me some issues. Refresh it. It was giving me microphone error issues. That's why the live stream restarted a couple times this morning. So it might have not synced correctly. I know you're not a tax advisor. Yes, that's obvious. I am not a tax advisor. Wouldn't it keep more profit after taxes if I selling futures options as day trades than I would if I sell SPX options? So yes, you would. Yes. Yep. But again, that is yes. But again, I'm not a tax person. Double check it with your tax advisor. But from my perspective, it's yes. So that's where we sit. That's all. I mean, we have Netflix on the tariff thing, but Netflix isn't much. It's still in consolidation. Disney. This would be interesting because there's some real key support we're not yet at. And that looks like it's a weekly, not double bottom, just two lows. I'm watching to see if Disney can get down to this 200 and this very key area of support. The 200 breaks, there's some gaps left behind, but this is going to be interesting if Disney trades down here. 30-minute double to gap fill on the ES. Oh, I know. There is even on the 15. even on the 15. So that's I would have noticed that after the market opened. I go down in time frames, but for everybody watching it now, it looks like it's confirmed. You could trade this if it gets a 15-minute close below, but again on this, I'd be looking for any. I wouldn't be aggressively shorting this. I'd be looking at pullbacks closer to the bottom of the 1 hour rotation zone. That's where that sits. And then again, the major support level 6,700 to 6,705. Charles thinks there's something cooking in the auto space. Well, defaults are going up. This headline doesn't bode well for Carvana. Auto dealer Tricor follows for bankruptcy. Yeah, that's, again, you're getting a lot of stuff in the subprime auto space. It's going downhill rapidly. So, Tricor and Carvana. Let's look at Carvana. Then I have to run. Come on, Carvana. What is Carvana gapping up today? Yeah. Oh, gosh. Carvana. Oh, yeah. Would I be long Carvana? No. No. Wondering where this 62.5 harmonic is, though, in relationship to the 200. Oh, the 50's right there. Get a nice topping pattern. We could. That would be nice. We just don't have one yet. Don't have one yet. Just grinding the 8 higher. All right. So we'll keep an eye on Carvana too. What's this? I heard that. I think you meant auto loans. They don't need to check your pay stubs when getting a mortgage, like when getting a mortgage. Maybe it's wrong, but I saw some guy. Well, I'd have to verify that. You're welcome, Anissa. All right, everyone, have a wonderful trading day. Just see, we also have a little mini double in the Nasdaq. Again, I wouldn't be looking to short these. I'd be looking for pullbacks. It's just too strong right now. We're going into month end. The day before month end is traditionally a little stronger. We'll see what happens on possibly sell month end tomorrow. But today I can't get overly bearish. With that, I shall talk to everyone later. Have a wonderful, wonderful trading day. See you all tomorrow. Hopefully the audio issues will be fixed. Bye for now.